How's it hanging, my home fitness peeps, Peloton geeks, and all of the rest of you fitness freaks? Absolutely stacked show this week, so let's dispense with the intro and get right into the news. Peloton has announced that starting next week, you will now be able to search for other members by name or contact info, whereas previously you had to know somebody's specific username. To make this possible, Peloton has decided that names for all profiles, including private profiles by the way, will now be viewable for all members. So yeah, now that creepy guy who keeps high-fiving you during class, well, he can go to your profile and find out who you are as well. Not sure that's the best call here by Peloton to make all names public by default. With no real CEO in place at the moment, I'm not sure who gave this the go-ahead, but it seems to me that at least for private profiles, they should, continue to remain private. Evidently, there will be a way to hide your profile from searches and prevent your profile from being suggested to your contacts through new options in the settings, though those are not currently available, but Peloton says they should be arriving with the new update next week. The big news from Peloton this week, though, is that rumors are swirling about the potential buyout from private equity firms. Evidently, a number of private equity firms have been considering a buyout of Peloton after seeing its market cap plummet from a high of $49.3 billion in 2021 to under $1 billion last week. News of the potential acquisition has sent the stock soaring over 30% this week, as private equity firms are rumored to be considering how to further cut Peloton's operation expenses to make the buyout more lucrative. While this is positive news to stockholders, as a user of Peloton, it makes me pretty concerned. When a company gets bought out by a private equity company, typically they will try to gut any and all expenses to make as much money as possible within the next few years before likely selling the company again. And generally this means that members can expect less updates, less new features, and more price gouging. And this is why generally I think it would be much better for members if a company like Apple or Amazon or Nike were to acquire Peloton, because unlike private equity firms, these types of companies tend to invest in the long run and are not as concerned about turning the business into a short-term cash cow at the expense of its future. Let me know what you think in the comments, but I for one hope that the private equity buyout doesn't end up pulling through, though with the hole that Peloton is currently in and with no current CEO, I'm not sure how many more options they have left at hand. Also, news came out this week that evidently several years ago, Peloton tried to buy the connected fitness rowing company Hydrow rather than building its own rowing machine, but that Hydrow declined. This report came about as Hydrow says sales have jumped 23% this year compared to last year, raising questions about whether Peloton's problems are more related to poor marketing and product decisions rather than a weakness in the broader at-home fitness market, which in reality it's probably a bit of both. Now, the reason Hydrow is in the news this week is for two reasons. First off, Hydrow has announced that its founder Bruce Smith will be stepping down as CEO, with current president and chief financial officer John Stellato to take over. Bruce Smith will still be involved with day-to-day operations and will take over as chair of Hydrow's board. Secondly, Hydrow announced that it has acquired Speede Fitness in order to expand into strength training, which unlike home cardio equipment is continuing to see increased sales year over year. Now, Speede Fitness makes digitally loaded strength machines similar to that of Tonal, and this sounds almost too crazy to be true, whereas Tonal can only reach 200 pounds of resistance, these machines that it looks like Hydrow may end up selling can support up to 2,000 pounds of resistance. Not sure how much these machines will cost, but they certainly do not seem cheap. Speede Fitness evidently did have them available for sale at some point for around $5,000, but now that Hydrow has acquired them, and who knows what the final form factor of these will end up like, if they might shoot for a lower cost model which doesn't support 2,000 pounds of resistance, or if they'll stick to these higher end premium versions. Either way, it's an exciting time to be a member of Hydrow, as it looks like they will become one of the first connected fitness companies to combine memberships for both high quality cardio and strength equipment. A lot of people complain that they would like to have a Peloton and Tonal, but all under the same membership. And now with Hydrow, it looks like that's going to be the argument they make of why to go with them. Now, speaking of connected fitness rowing companies, Urata is opening up their game-based rowing platform to Concept 2 owners, which sounds great in theory until you realize that in order to connect to Urata, you'll have to buy a connection kit which costs a whopping $599. Which, look, I like Urata a lot, but that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, as Concept 2 can already connect via Bluetooth to phones and iPads, which every other rowing program out there, including Peloton, Aviron, EXR, and many others use, because all you need is a $25 accessory to attach a tablet or a phone. But with Urata, they've decided to not use Bluetooth and instead have gone with a direct USB connection so that it can only work with this $600 touchscreen, which by the way is a simple 1080p 17.3 inch monitor. So man, I like Urata, but for $600 just to connect it to your Concept 2, I'm not sure I could recommend that. Would love to see Urata though just make an app that could connect to the Concept 2 via Bluetooth. That I would be down for. Now, speaking of expensive, 8 Sleep has revealed its newest generation of smart mattress covers, including the new Pod 4 Ultra, which starts around $4,000. But unlike the Urata Connect Kit, I actually think the 8 Sleep is worth the cost. The 8 Sleep Pod 4 Ultra now has 2 times the cooling power, making it easier to cool down to as low as 55 degrees, even in a hot environment. The hub runs quieter as well, though I've never thought that noise was much of an issue on the previous Pod 3. But what's really caught my eye here is that the Pod 4 Ultra now has an adjustable body positioning and snore detection. So you can adjust the body positioning manually, like if you want to read a book, but it will also adjust automatically to help improve your sleep. So for example, if you're snoring, it will raise your head automatically, which helps decrease your snoring. So just a very solid looking upgrade. Of course, at this price, not everybody is going to be able to justify this purchase, but for those who have the cash, I couldn't recommend 8 Sleep higher, though I definitely wish the price for these would come down a little bit so more people could get one. But as most of us are feeling nowadays, the prices, well, they keep on rising, and the indoor cycling app Zwift is the latest program to increase its membership cost. Though to be fair to Zwift, this is the first price increase they've made over the past 7 years. Effective June 6th, pricing will be adjusted in the US from $14.99 to $19.99 for monthly subscriptions, and from $149 to $199 for annual subscriptions. This 33% price increase will be effective for members on their next billing date after June 6th. And while we're discussing indoor cycling, there is a new indoor bike making headlines as a potential alternative to Peloton and Nordic Track, and that is the new Holo Bike, which just went up for pre-order. Founded by former Google VR researcher Samuel Watson, the Holo Bike seeks to simulate outdoor riding with a panoramic and stereoscopic 27-inch screen that provides a wide field of view at 4K resolution and high-resolution 3D images that don't require the user to wear any specialized glasses. Additionally, Holo Bike utilizes volumetric scans of real-world landscapes to generate its environments and navigate through them. So the rides are different and more natural every time compared to a pre-recorded video ride. And if that wasn't enough to immerse you, the pedals also use what they are calling a dynamic electromagnetic resistance to create a sort of haptic feedback effect that adjusts the feeling of your feet according to the virtual terrain you are riding on. Now, when I first heard about this bike, I was pretty skeptical, but the more I've looked into and researched what they are doing with the Holo Bike, it really does seem like a very cool technical leap, well beyond anything else I've ever seen, and it's already available to pre-order, so it's not just like a tech demo for some future bike. It's here already, and it actually gets me pretty excited about the future of connected fitness, as it sort of feels like over the past few years, it's just been sitting in sort of a lull as companies just try and survive. So really exciting to see the Holo Bike exploring something new. And now let's dig into some of the best deals of the week. First up, we have Stepper, the company behind the world's first connected stair climber, who for the first time are discounting 4 of its stair climbers, from the Stepper Classic to the Stepper Pro. The discounts here range from $300 to $1,000 off its regular price, and the sale ends on May 28th. Another sale to check out is Hyperice's Mother's Day sale, which has discounts of up to $150 off of many of its popular recovery products, from its entire lineup of massage guns, as well as its Nordic Track compression boots. My personal favorite here is the Normatec Go compression sleeves. I wear them all the time, and they are definitely one of my go-tos when it comes to recovery. And finally, we have Speedians, who is offering the largest discount I've seen this year with its Mother's Day sale. Both the Speedians Gym Monster and Gym Pal are on sale with discounts ranging from $400 to $800, including some free additional accessories. You can also receive an additional $120 off your order at Speedians by using the discount code COLIN during checkout, so you can get that price down pretty low, all things considered. And that's a wrap, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this week's recap for what's new in fitness. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time.